The mind is everything. What we think, we become. Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, good morning.
Good morning.
If that opening quote sounds familiar, that's because it's from Buddha. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. Perhaps there is a little Buddha in each of us. Now don't worry, as far as you know, we're not here to help you discover or listen to your little Buddha this morning. I'm here this morning to talk about the importance of dissatisfaction. By show of hands, how many of you have ever made a New Year's resolution? Sure, this is a common way that we express dissatisfaction, often with health, career, finances, and so forth. And when we begin sentences with, I want, I should, I wish, this is the beginning of expressing some dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction is all around us, spanning time and geography, spanning our physical, mental, and spiritual selves. Thankfully, our ancestors were not satisfied with walking around barefoot, living hand to mouth, and sleeping in caves. I like my shoes. I like my refrigerator. I love my bed. Thank goodness for these innovations. When did catching fish by hand go out of style? Well, someone realized, I'm not satisfied. This is not a good way to spend the afternoon. And they got a stick. And then they got a stick with a line and a hook. And then they found a net. And then we invented rafts with nets where we could go out for days. And now we simply take it for granted that on Monday morning, there's some little fish swimming around in the Pacific Ocean, 2,000 miles away, suddenly caught, bought, transported, sometimes by plane, distributed, and waiting for us a mile from home at King Soopers on Wednesday morning so we can eat it this evening. This is innovation. Dissatisfaction marks all innovation. And I'm not talking about simply technical innovation, but also social innovation, for instance. The founders of our country certainly recognized the importance of dissatisfaction. If they did not recognize the importance, we would have all had bangers and mash this morning for breakfast. We would get drunk this evening and fall asleep somewhere in England. But we don't. We don't do these things. This is one of the most dissatisfied people in human history, and they crossed an ocean, and they founded a new country, and they fought wars, and they laid down rules, and they made this country. They channeled that dissatisfaction. But it's all there. It's in the Bill of Rights. They knew the importance of dissatisfaction. The First Amendment, freedom of speech, religion, press, freedom to petition the government. They knew it was important to be dissatisfied. Now, how do we learn to respond to dissatisfaction? Education would be one alternative, but early education presents a sort of paradox. Early education is about obedience and socialization. Listen to the teacher, follow directions. It can be quite dogmatic. When I was in first grade, we had homework to label pictures. I had a picture of a dinosaur. I labeled it Tyrannosaurus Rex. Teacher marked it wrong. This is a dinosaur. Being middle class, you accept these quirks of public schooling. In hindsight, I would appeal this. Dissatisfaction, it is all around us. How do we cultivate it? What is the right response? Like most of life, there is a spectrum for how we may respond. On one side of the spectrum, perhaps there is an over-engaging perfectionism, right? We all know folks who are over-engaged in themselves and the world around them and demanding perfection in everything, in their work, in their appearance. It's tiring. On the other end of the spectrum are people who are not engaged. People who are, in fact, callously indifferent to the point of self-destruction or or worse. There is nothing worse on this end of the spectrum. This is your Columbines. This is your Virginia Techs. This is your people who are so dissatisfied and they channel it the wrong way on that spectrum. Our good friend Jim Halderman taught us a few years ago in a speech that anger is a tool. Anger is a tool, just like electricity is a tool. And how we use that tool, as Chris Anderson just taught us, is up to us. With electricity, we can use it for wonderful things like lighting our children's schools. We can also use it to implement the death penalty. It's a choice. How we use it, up to us. And it's the same for dissatisfaction. I would encourage you to avoid the extremes of perfectionism and self-destruction. We must find a balance to how we are responding to our dissatisfaction. But I assure you, it is important. Peter Taylor of Griffith University in Australia has said that the importance of dissatisfaction is that it is a starting point for change. It's true, it is a catalyst for change. I cannot think of any great world leader who we would look back on and say, thank goodness that 26-year-old Martin Luther King was satisfied. Thank goodness he was satisfied with separate but equal in the back of the bus. We cannot look at any great leader and say that. Thank goodness John F. Kennedy did not institute the Peace Corps, and he was satisfied with young people sitting at home during their college and early professional years. We cannot say those things. Dissatisfaction is important. And if you remember nothing else but one thing from today, let it be this. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. Madam Countess, please.